We're meeting today in a union hall. What is your position on workers' rights to organize and earn a living wage?
Well, I believe that all workers that have a right to a fair wage and access to affordable health care. I have supported and will continue to support better wages and benefits for Metro government employees especially. I also know that government must live within its means. So there will be continued challenges for mayors to meet all the wages and benefit demands that come across. But most certainly we're committed to that area. I am committed also and proud that Congress is looking at raising and have raised the minimum wage threshold. I do not believe that local government should dictate how much a business should give, large or small. It should pay its workers. But most certainly Congress is on top of that, and we support that. Thank you.
Well, on a city level, I believe where this city is lacking, I believe they're paying more attention to the administrative departments than they are the workers. The workers are the backbone of this city. The workers are the one that gets it done and goes out and takes care of you and me, not the administrative. So I'm one that I like to make sure that my managers are managing. That's the administrative. And I don't want to over-administrate. I think if you've got good employees, you need to put them out and leave them on their own. Let them handle the job. And we have to provide the benefits for them. Healthcare costs has got so out of string that it's just unreal. We've got to, there's not a whole lot of control we can do over that. But we've got to offer those things. We've got to have it available for the people. And we will have it. Thank you.
Well, I think there's a fundamental deep-seated crisis in this country when it comes to wage disparity. And if you look at the last 20 years or so in America, the rich have gotten richer and the poor have really gotten poorer comparatively. Labor unions are the only significant stop that we have as a community to keep that from happening. I worked on the council to make sure that Davis-Bacon was going to be enforced on Metro building contracts. Labor unions are now having to fight to get the legal department to actually enforce the Davis-Bacon requirements that are in the existing Metro code. I've worked hard over my last 8 years to make sure that all Metro employees are making above the poverty level. We have to stay committed to that within the government. Government can lead as well, and we can demonstrate to the private sector that paying a living wage to everyone who lives in this community is an important way to confront lack of opportunity in education and other problems amongst the poorest in our community.
I probably sit here uniquely, the only candidate that's been a member of the UAW and Teamsters, but also a banker for 10 years, president of an insurance agency for 3, and worked as administrator in higher education for 15 years. So I can sit here on both sides, knowing the importance of laborers needing to have persons who are a voice for them, knowing the importance of business and how business should function in a cohesive way with our laborers. And so it is very important to me that we bring both parties to the table, at the table of government, and we ensure that the persons who are working in our communities, who are laboring in our communities, have a fair wage, are paid in a way that is respectable and right, but also that the business side utilizes the proper financial and financing positions so that we can get this done without hurting the people of this community. Thank you.
Like Mr. Gentry, I was actually a member of a labor union. I was the United Furniture Workers member. When I was growing up, I worked my way through college and law school working in furniture factories and paper mills. I think one of the best things that we've done in the city recently during the last 7 years was the Mercer study, where the government came in and looked at how we are paying our employees to determine whether they are being paid on a competitive basis with the surrounding major cities. As a result of that study, there was increases in salaries and in wages for most employees. And I think we have to be committed to pay our employees the right wages, and we have to be committed to reviewing what those wages and salaries are so that we remain competitive. And I would be committed to doing that. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 2. Do you support LEED's standards for Nashville?
I think LEED standards are very important. I think LEED certification ensures that our buildings last longer, they are more environmental friendly, and that they are built in a way that reduces the cost over the long term. I also believe that as we promote LEED certified buildings and structures, that we have to look at the true cost of what it is to provide a green environment, a LEED certified environment to our city, and we have to openly share that initial cost with the citizens of this community and be ready to explain to them how the long term will be better for the community, for the city, in that regard. And I think it's very important that we share it on the front end.
A LEED certified building is a building that is green, environmentally green. And the idea is that if you build in energy savings and other environmental bonuses at the front end of a building, over time you recover that through reduced energy costs, etc. I am a sponsor of a bill right now to require that all metro buildings over 5,000 square feet be LEED certified. So yes, absolutely, I support it. I can't understand exactly why, but the administration, the Purcell administration, is opposed to it. So we're fighting right now to see if we can't get that adopted here in Nashville. It's a first step towards making Nashville an environmentally sustainable, green place. This is the #1 priority for me in terms of making sure that we move forward immediately, is getting this LEED bill passed before this council term ends.
I'm in favor of the government leading by example. The government should be the first to step up, do energy audits, and implement construction standards that are favorable to the environment. I would like to see us put an emphasis on immediately doing audits to determine whether our buildings are energy efficient. I would like to see us work toward moving toward biodiesel and mass transit and public works vehicles. I think in education particularly, there's a real opportunity in terms of doing these energy audits and finding ways to reduce energy costs, and not only saving money for the city, but in also educating our children. And I would want to look at the idea of any savings that can be accomplished through the audits and through the initiative of the students be passed on directly to education.
About government, having been a department head one time, was what we were doing in terms of environmentally with our buildings and with our automobiles and our fire engines and trucks and so forth. And so we want to be looking in that direction to make all those differences, as I was during that time. I also support the initiative David Briley mentioned just a few minutes ago. I also supported Councilman Jameson, who was the lead sponsor on the Weston hotel downtown that was just passed a few minutes ago, and part of the requirements for that was dealing with the LEED certification. And I most certainly supported that, and that's one of the things that encouraged me to support that effort. And I will continue always, both in government and outside of government, to support environmentally friendly laws and regulations for our community.
Well, where I do agree with the LEEDs in the government buildings, we do have to pay close attention to the development that's going on in Nashville. There's a lot of development going on in Nashville. If we pass the rule, and I do know we need a green space, we need greenways, and I'm not saying anything like that we would do away with it. We're not going to do it away with it. We're still going to require it. But we have to watch closely on the development. If we pass a ruling that all buildings that are being built in Nashville will have to be LEED certified, it could hurt the development and the economy in Nashville. Now, we know for the long run it's going to be best for the city, but what we have to watch is we've got developers coming in here developing, and the numbers have to work for those developers. We want to keep Nashville growing at its capacity it's growing at. We don't want to hinder anything, but we want to require these developers to do the LEEDs if any way possible. Thank you.